Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome again to another painting tutorial. I'll be doing a landscape painting today, and this is just my way of learning as well, not just teaching you guys how to paint, but also teaching myself how to switch from one subject to another. As you may have noticed already, just a week ago I painted some flowers and now I am deciding to paint a landscape. So that's one way of learning, to just keep switching your subjects. Don't stick to just one subject. That's my advice, especially for those beginners who are into art or painting. All right. So the colors that I'll be using for today's painting tutorial will be listed in the description box below. And they are as follows. Uh, we have, this is Cerulean Blue, burnt sienna. You can also use raw umber or brown red. This is permanent green deep. And then I'll be using some cadmium yellow. Okay, I just haven't prepared the color because the yellow will be mostly used for highlighting. So I don't want the paint to dry out because I'll be using it last. And of course, titanium white and black. It's almost always unnecessary for me to say titanium white and black because there's no painting that I did not use those two colors or those two shades. All right, so let's begin now. I'll be sketching first the subject, and as you can see here, I have here my fan brush, simply because we will be using our fan brush later. For the trees, we'll be painting some pine trees in the foreground. So I'll be getting a different brush for sketching purposes. So you can use actually any brush that you want. It doesn't really matter. At least for my painting tutorials, the type of brush does not really matter. One way to know, okay, just know what brush to use is which brush are you most comfortable using with when it comes to sketching. All right. I'm not really comfortable using a fan brush for sketching because of the bristles. It just doesn't help me, all right, especially those angles and curves and some details in sketching. So I'm gonna get my burnt sienna, or I'm using brown red, just to show you how things are gonna go. So the horizon will be here. So we'll be painting a mountainous landscape, but with waters, of course. So I think this is enough for me. This is enough. It's not half of the canvas. It's like uh, one third almost. All right. So now let's draw. This is where the first mountain will go. It's gonna be really, really big right here, and there will be what they call this, a mountain in the back that is more blurry in appearance simply because it's farther, or it's the farthest mountain. And there will be, of course, trees here, distant trees. And of course, there will be some, what they call this, trees as well, like the pine trees, okay, that will be seen in the foreground, like here. So it's like framing the painting. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now let's proceed to sketching. You can actually use the brush that you use for sketching if it's wide enough. But I think I'm gonna switch to a much wider brush simply because I want to cover a wider surface area. So I'll be using this brush that oh my god, it's so hard to speak when I speak so fast. So this is the brush that I'll be using for the initial underpainting. So I'm gonna wet my brush and I'm gonna use my Cerulean Blue. Okay. And I'll be using a little bit of white. I did not prepare my white simply because my white is almost gone. I have my new white here, but I'm just gonna make use of the remaining paints. So I'm gonna use my white, okay, and blue, okay, and I'm gonna color this area with this color. Now I want you to cover the sketch line that we did We don't need really that brownie color. All right, this is preliminary, as always. All right, just like that. Very easy, right? Okay. And then that's your waters, but we will be doing a lot of reflections later. Reflecting the mountains, reflecting the trees, and of course, reflecting the sky. So everything that's here, up here, okay, will be reflected here. But some will be more of a suggestion, more than the actual depiction of what's above here, okay? Reflections are more of the, it's like a distorted version of what's being reflected. Okay, now I'm gonna underpaint the mountains. So for that, I'll be using my burnt sienna or my brown red. I'm gonna grab a little bit of green. Okay. I'm so tempted to use my black, but I think I can go with this color first. So let's just underpaint. Remember, this is the underpainting, so it should be really, really dark compared to the actual or the final look. You can go in any direction you want, okay? Because this is the underpainting. It will be painted over later, but the purpose of this is to provide shadows, depth, and yeah, consequently, absence of light. And color up to the horizon line. Now, if you think that the horizon line is not straight enough, we can always go back to it later, especially as we go towards the end of the painting process. We can always go back to it. All right, that's the first layer for that. Now I'm gonna do the same thing right here on the left side. Okay, you wanna make sure that your mountains don't look like they are triangles. That's when you ask a child to paint a mountain, they would draw a triangle. Um, for our level, we don't want to be like that. We want to make sure that we also paint those curvatures, those irregular lines. We want those lines to be present so as to make a suggestion of what nature is. I love painting nature, and for me, nature and painting nature itself is an art, and the art resulting from painting nature is art. If you get what I mean, that makes sense to you. Okay, so I'll be using the same color for the back mountain or for the most distant mountain. However, I'll be adding light. I'm sorry, I'll be adding white so as to make it appear more distant. Okay, the more blurry it is, the more you suggest distance, and the more dark the color is, the more you suggest proximity. Okay, so I'll be using white. I'll be adding white to the existing color on my palette. Okay, I'll be adding my burnt sienna or brown. Okay, I'll be darkening it even more. So it's like grayish brown, browny color, but you want to make sure that there's still some sort of green going on. All right, I'm gonna try this one out. And okay, perfect. So I'm gonna use this color. Again, even for the back mountain or for the most distant mountain, you wanna make sure that the shape is not perfect. Okay? Even the shape should not be perfect. Um, that's just my suggestion. You can always do whatever it is that you want. But since you're watching my tutorial, I want you to really appreciate nature. I love appreciating nature, the dirtiest part, the cleanest part. All right, and then I'll be darkening this a bit just to color this mountain right here. I'm using a wide brush. That's why I'm having a hard time doing some curves. All right, and then I'll be getting my brown. Just add it. Okay, you can always change your brush anytime. And I'll be coloring this mountain just beside this mountain, the darker mountain. Okay, just like that. You can add black. Actually, I can add, I should have used darker colors. Okay, for this part. Last week it was really cold here in Chicago, but now the weather has gone a little warmer, which I really appreciate. Because while it's true that I like cold weather, I don't like it when it's just too cold because I can't move. I mean, I just want to lie in bed, something like that. Okay, so that will be the next most distant mountain. I'm gonna switch brush now because this is not really working for me. It's just getting thicker and thicker and thicker, and I'm having a hard time going into the smallest spaces. Okay, so I'm gonna switch my brush. Okay, what brush should I use? Okay, I'm gonna use the brush that I used for sketching earlier. So I'm gonna get my black, and I'm just gonna line. I'm gonna make some outline right here on this mountain. We want to make sure that there's some sort of outline so as to, give it shape and separation from other objects. Right? Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to use the same black color on this distant mountain, but I'll be using as well my fingers, okay, to scrub or to smudge those tiny blobs of paint to create some texture. It's a very interesting way of painting because you're just not relying on your brushes. You're also doing the painting yourself with the help of your hands, your actual hands. And I'm just in love with this technique. Okay, just to add more texture. I think I'll be using my palette knife later. I'll be getting my brown now. Get your brown, and I'll be adding some hints of browns here and there. Okay, remember that this is the distant mountain, so you don't want to do a lot of dark colors in here because it will not be consistent with perspective that we're trying to achieve here. Okay. And by using palette knife, we'll be getting those texture more emphasized. Okay. More. Just like that. And then I'm gonna wash my brush out. Okay, I'm gonna use my palette knife. And for the palette knife that I'll be using, I think I'm just gonna be using this. Or no, maybe I'm gonna use a little more triangular in shape, like this one. Okay. You know, my palette knives are really not clean. But when I say not clean, it means that I just didn't remove the dried acrylics. That doesn't mean they're gross and dirty. It just means that it has a lot of paint. You can see how much work have been put on or have been placed on the palette knives. All right, so I'm gonna grab my white. Your white doesn't have to be pure white. It can be contaminated with other colors. It's okay because we're not yet really highlighting. So I'm gonna use this white to create some suggestion of snow in the background in the distant mountain. So by using palette knife, um, we create patterns and texture that we probably would not have achieved or could not have achieved by using, an ordinary brush. I'm gonna get my black, okay, and I'm gonna try to create some texture and depth. Not too much though, because this is again distant. Now, if you committed a mistake, just like what I did here, it's fine because it's your painting. Take control over it. Right. You want to make sure that there are more suggestion of snow on top. All right, just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna get my gray color. So I'm gonna get my gray. We'll be doing the sky. And I want to create first, I don't want to create super bright sky at the moment. If you want to add a little bit of blue, it's fine. You can do that as well. Okay, I'm gonna cover now the sketch line that I did here for the trees. Okay. This is just the underpainting for the sky so that we give a suggestion already. Okay. And it's okay to overlap with the mountains and the sky because that will only emphasize how blurry the background is. Okay. Now, if you want to add a little more blue color, it's fine as well. But I'll be adding a little bit of gray color. And also on the mountains, just continue. Right, just like that. And then I'm gonna go and apply some gray color. Okay, water it down so that it's easier. Right here on this mountain. Okay, just like that. I'll be getting my black just to separate it. All right. All right, just like that. Some more dark colors here. Okay, more browns. All right. Okay. And now we go to detailing the, what do you call this? The mountains by adding some trees. So I'll be getting my green and mix it with my brown so that it's muted green. And then I'm going to create some tiny markings. Now, if it's not that green enough, you can always add more green. And by the way, we will be highlighting this later. So I'll be using vertical dabs of paints to suggest some trees. Again, this is very preliminary and it's only a suggestion of what's in there. It's not really, we're not really painting trees. We're marking it. We're putting marks on the surface. All right. Okay. Okay, you can actually color that sketch line. I still have some brown left over that horizon line. So I want to eliminate, I want to delete that, not eliminate. What am I saying? Okay. Now I'm going to get my yellow just to add more visible trees because I feel that I can see that my trees are not as visible as I want them to be. So I'm going to dab onto the same color, green and yellow. And yeah, let's proceed. Again, you don't want to do too much of highlighted markings because that would suggest too much highlighted trees. You just want to make sure that it's there. But some trees are highlighted and some are not. I might switch to my fan brush later just to give my trees more correct suggestion. Okay. Okay, I'll be using my brown and yellow because as you know, trees, it's not just green. It's not just, what do you call that? They are not just green, perfect green or perfect orange when it's fall. There are some browny colors and a lot of them are muted colors that I really, really like because if you don't forget to use those colors, you will be able to come up with a more realistic painting. Okay. I'll be adding more green. Okay. So just be or evenly distribute those highlights. Don't just concentrate the highlight on one area. And again, try to make the trees overlap our mountains, our mountain line. Okay, I'll be getting my black. Grab some black. And using this black, we're going to create some negative spacing. Don't forget as well the negative spaces, because this will make your paintings more dimensional. It's not looking really flat. Dimensional paintings are paintings of illusion. It tricks your mind into believing that you are looking at 3D. Um, it's like you're part of the painting, okay? But it takes skill to know where the dimension is or how to give it dimension. So just keep practicing and practicing. And also, I hope you learned something from my tutorials, because some people have told me that my tutorials are helping them to refresh their painting skills, and some are just beginning. So, yeah, I'm just glad. All right. So now I'm going to get my green again. I'll be adding white this time. Okay, white. Okay, I'll be highlighting, and a little bit of yellow. I'll be highlighting this area. Okay, so make sure that this area is more light in appearance. Okay, just like that. Okay. Some more greens. Okay. And black. Again, still apply some negative spacing. Okay, just like that. And I will go back to this area later. I'm just going to allow the paints to dry. All right, I'm going to allow the paint to dry. And now I'm going to use my pan brush. I'm sorry, my palette knife. Okay, I'm just going to grab some gray color, and I want to apply some more suggestions of snow on the distant, what do you call this, mountains. Okay. Okay, and I can use a little bit of brown and to make the mountains more realistic. Okay, just like that. Just like that. I'll be adding a little bit of brown. Okay, just like that. Okay, let me check. Okay, making sense already. Now I can use my white. I want to highlight the background. I'm gonna grab my white, and I'm gonna paint it with some white. I'm gonna make some overlapping shading right here to make that distant mountain appear more distant. Okay, that makes sense. You don't want to paint over it. You want to glaze it. Okay, just like that. And I can use a cleaner brush just to make sure that the paint is evenly distributed. Okay, I'm gonna scrub a little bit of that white color right here. I'm gonna use that color still down here. And some pure white in the sky. This will highlight the sky. You want the gray color to appear in your sky, but you also want to make some bright white colors. All right, just like that. And then I'm gonna clean this part of the waters. All right, now let's proceed to the reflection. I might go back to that area later. Let's just allow the paint to dry and let's do some reflections in the water. And for the reflection of this mountain, I'm gonna use an inverted triangle. Okay, I'll be getting my green and brown as well. So it's like green and brown. Make sure this is more watery than usual. And I'm just gonna make some green reflection here. Okay, okay, just like that. That's it. And then I'm gonna make some. You don't want that strict line to be appearing on the mountain. It's just a suggestion. It's just a guide of where things are gonna go. And then as you can see here, I'm spreading the paint across the rest of this area. Okay, that's preliminary again. Okay. All right, just like that. Gonna get my brown and black and green. More green this time. I have a little bit of yellow. Okay, and then let's create some. I want it more dark. Okay. So again, this is more of a suggestion of what's on top that is being reflected on. Just a suggestion, okay? And if you notice the way I'm applying the paint is very, very raw and almost patternless. Okay. That's because I want this reflection to look like reflections. Okay, I'm gonna dab onto my brown. We want to make sure that there is also brown in this area simply because there are brown colors right here on the mountain. Okay. Carefully. Don't overdo this. Just slightly make some suggestions. Okay. Just like that. Here I'm gonna make some dark colors. All right. Gonna get some white and green. Oops, white and green. Don't forget the blue color. All right. So I'm gonna make this look blurry a bit to suggest water reflections. Okay, just like that. That's very preliminary again. Let's do the reflection for this mountain. Or maybe this mountain first. This mountain will be like this. Oops. All right, just like that. Okay, and then some brown again. All right. And then some white. Make it appear more blue because of the water. And then the most distant mountain. Okay, I'm gonna apply more white so that we can, all right, just like that. And then some black. Okay, and then brown. Mhm. Let me check. How's, oh, this is so good. Okay. Okay, now I'll be changing my brush. I'll be getting white. Okay, so I'm just changing. Oops, that's too bright. Sorry about the lighting. Okay, that's fine. Gonna get my white. Okay, you wanna make sure that you apply some white just along the horizon line. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna get my black. I'm gonna apply more texture right here. Mhm. Also here. Okay. Also a little bit of detailing. Okay. Now we want to make sure that the waters look like waters. Okay. I hope my lighting is not too bright. Mhm. All right. I'm going to use my white brush. I'm going to dab onto my white. And I really want to make sure that this part is more watery. Okay. So I'm going to apply water down white. What was that? Water down white right here. So if you're using a paper just like me, you might notice your paper um what do you call that, shrinking. Okay, but it's okay. When it's dry later, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna use my pure white, and I'm gonna create just like what's appearing in the sky. I'm gonna create suggestion of clouds and also ice. I really like this one. It really looks like a reflection. I'm gonna get a little bit of blue. Now we want to make sure that this blue um, will be will appear. Okay. Get your cerulean blue. Appear on the water. So very slight. All right, just like that. Now I really want to create some pine trees in the foreground. I'm gonna use my pen brush now. Oops! I just dipped my finger on the black paint. My God, what's wrong with my hand? I'm gonna dab onto my black. Sorry about that. Look, it's all black. And using my actually my not my pure black, I'm gonna add green to that and yellow. Okay. And brown. Before we use pure black, we're gonna use a little bit of a muted green color. Okay. And using the tip of my pen brush, I'm gonna get into. So this will be the foreground trees. Okay. We will be using black later. For now, let's just do some greeny pine trees. Actually, it's not really green like cartoon green. It's more of muted green as always when we're painting nature. Again, we try to make sure that it's muted. Now, I'm not going to suggest that you overdo some leaves. Okay, I don't want you to do that. Oops! Oh my God! I'm losing control over my hand. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my hand? Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing right here. Okay, we will do less right here before we do the black color. Okay, so this leaves will give it more of. I'm gonna add. We start with green first before we. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to get our pure black, and we're just gonna go over those areas that we did. You see, a combination of dark colors and light colors will make your painting really look more dimensional. All right, it's really good. You can also go back to the mountain and on. You can apply a little bit of reflection. And just like that. Just go down. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of white to that greeny color that we had here, just to give another shade, and that is more grayy color. Okay. And again, some highlights. Right here. Great. I'm gonna wash my brush out. Let me check. Mhm. I really want to emphasize it more. I'm gonna go get my white. And using white, I'm gonna work on this water area even more. I'm gonna apply a little bit of white in between those leaves, just to suggest some fogginess. And the waterline. And some snow suggestions. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna make it more look watery. Right. That's nice. Great. Okay. I'm just gonna make some separation line right here. So I feel like it's not separated. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Else. And then some more browns. Some more brown. Right. Just add more browns. And some white. Let me check. I like this one. Yeah, I really like this one. And I'm gonna drag more white. Okay. That's it. I think this is done. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna sign this now. I'm gonna use, I think I got a lot of blue. So I'm gonna use my blue to sign here. I think this is a very big paintbrush. I'm gonna get a small brush or a more pointy one. I'm gonna sign right here. And we're finished. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this one. It's quite different from our usual ones, but I still hope that you did like this one, and I hope you paint along with me. If you like this one and you want to paint along with me, let me know in the comment section below. If you painted along with me in the past, let me know in the comment section below. So see you in my next one, guys, and have a great day. Bye. Love you.